Bismillah, there is a moment every single day, a moment so quiet, so pure, so full of unseen power that most people sleep right through it. That moment is after Fajr. While the world is still silent, while hearts are still soft, while distractions have not yet taken over your mind, there is a window between you and Allah, a window where your dua doesn't just rise, it soars. But the question is, what are you doing with that moment? Are you rushing back to sleep? Are you scrolling your phone? Or are you standing there, heart open, asking the one who controls everything? Because let me tell you something powerful. The life you are waiting for may be locked behind a dua you haven't made yet. After Fajr, your heart is in its most natural state. No noise, no pressure, no fake layers. Just you and your creator. This is when sincerity becomes real. This is when your words are not rehearsed. They are felt. And Allah doesn't look at fancy words. He looks at your heart, so speak to him. Tell him what's breaking you. Tell him what you're afraid of. Tell him what you're hoping for, even if it feels impossible, because what is impossible for you is effortless for Allah. You think your problems are too big. Allah created the skies without pillars. You think your situation can't change? Allah turns night into day, every single day without fail. So who told you your life can't change? The problem is not that Allah doesn't respond. The problem is we don't ask with certainty. We make dua. But deep inside, we doubt. We ask, but we don't expect. And that's where everything shifts. When you stand after Fajr and raise your hands, don't just ask, believe. Believe that Allah is listening. Believe that Allah cares. Believe that Allah will respond in the best way, at the best time. Maybe not how you imagined, maybe not when you demanded, but always exactly how you need. And here's the reality most people don't understand. The dua doesn't just change your situation. It changes you. It softens your heart. It strengthens your patience. It builds your trust. And sometimes the greatest miracle is not that your life changed overnight, but that you did, that you became stronger, that you became calmer, that you found peace in the middle of chaos. Because when you consistently turn to Allah after Fajr, something incredible happens. You stop relying on people and start relying on the one who never fails. You stop chasing control and start embracing trust. You stop living in fear and start living in faith. And slowly, quietly, beautifully, Allah begins to change everything. Doors you thought were closed begin to open, pulls you never saw, begin to appear, hearts that were heavy, begin to feel light, not because life became perfect, but because your connection with Allah became stronger. So tomorrow morning, don't miss it. Wake up, pray Fajr, then sit just for a few minutes, raise your hands, speak from your heart, ask with certainty, and then walk into your day knowing Allah has already heard you, Allah is already working for you, and what is coming is better than what you left behind. Trust Him. Because one sincere dua at the right moment can change everything. There is something deeply special about the moments after Fajr, something most people overlook, yet something that holds incredible spiritual power. It is not just another part of your day, it is a sacred opening. A quiet invitation from Allah to come closer, to speak, to ask, and to connect before the world begins to pull you in every direction. After Fajr, the world is still. The noise hasn't started yet. There are no demands, no distractions, no endless notifications competing for your attention. It is just you, your thoughts, and your creator. In that stillness, your heart is softer. It hasn't yet been hardened by stress, comparison, or the weight of daily responsibilities. This is what makes this time so powerful. It is pure. In that purity, your connection with Allah becomes more real. You are not rushing. You are not distracted. You are present. And when you are truly present in your dua, something changes. Your words are no longer just words. They carry emotion, honesty, and vulnerability. And that is exactly what Allah loves, a servant who turns to Him sincerely. This time is also filled with barakah, blessing that cannot always be seen but is always felt. It is the kind of blessing that brings peace into your heart, clarity into your mind, and ease into your day. When you begin your morning by turning to Allah, you are setting the tone for everything that follows. You are grounding yourself in faith before stepping into a world full of uncertainty. Think about it. How different would your day feel if it started with calm instead of chaos? With remembrance instead of distraction, with trust instead of anxiety? The moments after Fajr give you exactly that opportunity. It is also a time when your duas carry a unique weight. You are coming to Allah at a time when many others are still asleep. You are choosing Him over comfort, over rest, over your bed. That choice matters. That sacrifice is seen. And Allah never overlooks the effort you make to come closer to Him. But here is the reality. This powerful moment is often wasted. People pray Fajr and immediately rush back to sleep, or they pick up their phones and lose themselves in the digital world. And just like that, the opportunity slips away. The power of this time is not just in praying Fajr. It is in what you do after, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, sitting quietly, raising your hands. And making sincere dua can transform your entire day. You don't need long, complicated supplications. Just speak. Ask, reflect, be real. Because in those few minutes, you are not just making dua, you are building a relationship that strengthens you, guides you, and supports you in ways nothing else can. And over time, as you begin to protect and value these moments after Fajr, you will notice something beautiful. Your heart becomes more at peace, your worries feel lighter, and your trust in Allah grows stronger. That is the power of this time. It is not just a moment in your day. It is a doorway to change, a source of strength, and a quiet reminder that before the world wakes up, Allah is already listening. One of the biggest misunderstandings people have about dua is the idea that it needs to sound perfect. Many think they need the right words, the right language, or long, beautifully structured supplications for their dua to be accepted. Because of this, they hesitate, they overthink. Sometimes they don't even make dua at all, just because they feel they don't know how. But the truth is simple and it is freeing. Allah is not looking for perfect words. He is looking for a sincere heart. Dua is not a performance. It is not a speech. It is a conversation. And not just with anyone. It is a conversation with the one who already knows what is inside your chest, who understands your pain before you even speak it, and who hears even the words you struggle to say. So why pretend? Why try to sound perfect? When you make dua, you don't need to impress Allah. You need to be real with Him. Speak in your own language. Use your own words. Even if your sentences are broken, even if your thoughts are scattered, say them anyway. Because sincerity is not about how polished your words are. It is about how true they are. Think about a moment when you were overwhelmed, when your heart was heavy, and you didn't know how to explain what you were feeling. Maybe all you could say was, Ya Allah, help me. That simple, raw plea, coming from a place of desperation and honesty, carries more weight than long, memorize duas said without feeling because sincerity gives life to your words, and Allah loves that honesty. He loves when His servant turns to Him without filters, without barriers, without pretending to be okay when they are not. He loves when you admit your weakness, your fears, your hopes and your struggles. In fact, your vulnerability is not a weakness in front of Allah. It is your strength. When you drop the need to be perfect, you open the door to a deeper connection. Your dua becomes more personal, more meaningful, more powerful. You are no longer just reciting, you are connecting. And here's something even more powerful to understand. Allah responds to the sincerity behind your words, not the complexity of them. You could make a short, simple dua with full presence of heart, and it could be more beloved than a long one said while your mind is elsewhere. This is why presence matters. When you make dua, don't rush. Don't let your lips move while your heart is disconnected. Slow down. Feel what you are saying. Let your heart speak before your tongue does. If you are grateful, say it and feel it. If you are hurting, express it honestly. If you are lost, admit it openly. There is no script you have to follow. There is no perfect way you must sound. Just be sincere. And over time, as you begin to make dua this way, you will notice something shift. Your connection with Allah will feel closer. Your duas will feel more meaningful. You will no longer see dua as a task, but as a safe space, a place where you can return again and again, no matter what you are going through. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful dua is not the most eloquent one. It is the one that comes from a heart that truly means it. One of the greatest barriers between you and a powerful dua is not your situation. It is your belief about your situation. Many people stand in prayer, raise their hands, and ask, but deep inside they carry a quiet thought. This is too big. This won't change. This is impossible. And that silent doubt weakens the very dua they are making. But here is the truth you need to hold on to with certainty. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible for Allah. The problem is not the size of your struggle. The problem is that you are measuring it with human limits whilst asking the one who has no limits. Look around you. Every single day you are surrounded by signs of Allah's power. The sun rises without fail. The night turns into day. Life comes from what once seemed lifeless. The sky stands without pillars. Your own heart beats without you controlling it. If Allah can do all of that effortlessly, then what exactly makes your problem too difficult? Sometimes your situation feels impossible because you can't see a way out. You can't imagine the solution. You don't know how things will change. But your understanding is limited, and Allah's knowledge is not. You don't need to know how. You just need to know who. Who is the one you are asking? Who is the one in control of every outcome? Who is the one who can change hearts, rewrite destinies, and open doors no one even knew existed? When you truly understand who Allah is, your perspective begins to shift. What once felt impossible starts to feel possible, not because the situation changed immediately, but because your belief did. And belief is powerful. There are people who have been in situations that seemed completely hopeless. Years of hardship, broken relationships, financial struggles, emotional pain, and yet, in ways they could never predict, Allah changed everything, not because it was easy, not because it made sense, but because Allah willed it. That is the key. When Allah says be, it is. There is no delay, no struggle, no resistance. His command is absolute. So when you make dua, don't limit Allah based on your fears. Don't reduce your request because you think it's too much. Ask fully, ask boldly, ask with a heart that believes that the one you are asking is capable of all things. If you are asking for healing, know that Allah can heal in ways doctors cannot explain. If you are asking for provision, know that Allah can provide from sources you never imagined. If you are asking for relief, know that Allah can remove hardship in a single moment. But here's something important to understand. Believing that Allah can do anything does not mean you dictate how or when it will happen. Sometimes Allah changes your situation instantly. Sometimes He delays it for a reason. Sometimes He gives you something different, but better. And sometimes He strengthens you through the test before changing the test itself. But in all cases, one thing remains true. Allah is always in control, and nothing is beyond His power. So the next time you raise your hands in dua, remove the word impossible from your heart. Replace it with trust. Replace it with certainty, because the moment you truly believe that Allah can change anything, you will never feel hopeless again. There is a difference, a powerful, life-changing difference between asking and believing. Many people make dua every day. Their lips move, their hands are raised, their words are spoken, but inside there is hesitation, there is doubt, a quiet whisper that says, will this really happen? Will my dua actually be accepted? And that doubt, even if it is small, creates a barrier. Because dua is not just about what you say, it is about what you believe while you are saying it. Certainty is the soul of dua. When you raise your hands to Allah, you are not speaking into emptiness. You are calling upon the one who hears every whisper, who knows every hidden thought, and who has the power to respond in ways beyond your imagination. So how can you stand before Him and still doubt? Imagine asking someone for help while already believing they won't help you. Your words would be weak, your tone would lack conviction, your heart wouldn't be fully present. Now think about asking Allah, the most powerful, with that same mindset. It doesn't match. When you make dua, you must expect a response. Not because you deserve it, but because Allah is generous, because Allah is merciful, because Allah has promised to respond to those who call upon Him. Certainty means you ask with a heart that is firm, not shaky. It means you believe that Allah is listening, even when you don't see immediate results. It means you trust that your dua is not being ignored. It is being handled in the best way possible. And here's something many people struggle with. They tie certainty to immediate outcomes. If their dua is answered quickly, their faith feels strong. If it is delayed, they begin to question. But true certainty is not dependent on timing. Certainty is trusting Allah even when the answer hasn't come yet. It is waking up day after day, continuing to make the same dua with the same hope, the same belief, the same conviction, knowing that Allah hears you every single time, because delay does not mean denial. Sometimes Allah delays your dua to test your patience. Sometimes He delays it to give you something greater. Sometimes He delays it because the timing is not right yet. But a heart filled with certainty does not give up. Instead, it becomes stronger, more patient, more trusting. And when you reach that level, something beautiful happens. You stop feeling anxious about the outcome because you already know deep in your heart that whatever Allah chooses will be good for you. That is what certainty looks like. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is calm, steady, and unshakable. You raise your hands, you ask, and then you leave the rest to Allah without constantly questioning, without overthinking, without losing hope. And this kind of dua is powerful because it comes from a place of deep trust. A place where your heart is fully connected, fully present, fully reliant on Allah. So the next time you make dua, check your heart. Are you asking, or are you truly believing? Remove the doubt. Silence the hesitation. Replace it with certainty. Because when you combine sincere words with unshakable belief, you are not just making dua, you are placing complete trust in the one who never fails. Most people turn to dua with one main expectation. They want their situation to change. They want relief from pain, solutions to problems, doors to open, and hardships to disappear. And there is nothing wrong with that. This is part of human nature. We all want ease, clarity, and answers. But there is a deeper reality about dua that many people overlook. Before Allah changes your situation, He often changes you, and sometimes that inner transformation is the greatest gift of all, when you consistently make dua, especially in quiet, sincere moments like after Fajr. You are not just asking for outcomes. You are engaging in a process that reshapes your heart, your mindset, and your entire way of seeing life. At first, you may come to Allah feeling anxious, overwhelmed, and uncertain. Your thoughts are scattered, your emotions are heavy, and your focus is only on what's going wrong. You want things fixed immediately. You want the pain to end. But as you continue making dua, something subtle begins to shift. Your heart starts to soften. Instead of bottling everything inside, you release your worries to Allah. You begin to speak openly, honestly, without fear of being judged or misunderstood. That alone brings a sense of relief because you are no longer carrying everything by yourself. Then slowly your perspective begins to change. The same problem that once felt unbearable starts to feel lighter. Not because it disappeared, but because your reliance has shifted. You are no longer depending solely on your own strength. You are leaning on Allah, and that changes everything. Dua teaches you patience. When your answer doesn't come immediately, you learn to wait without losing hope. You begin to understand that delay has wisdom, that timing matters, and that Allah's plan is always more precise than your expectations. Dua builds resilience. Each time you raise your hands again, despite not seeing results yet, you are strengthening your faith. You are proving to yourself and to Allah that you trust Him enough to keep going. Dua brings inner peace. Even in the middle of chaos, there is a calmness that begins to grow inside you, a quiet assurance that says Allah is in control. That peace is powerful. It protects you from breaking under pressure, and perhaps most importantly, Dua strengthens your relationship with Allah. It turns your connection from something occasional into something consistent. You stop remembering Allah only in moments of crisis and start turning to Him in every state, good and bad, and this connection becomes your anchor. So even if your situation hasn't changed yet, you are no longer the same person facing it. You are stronger, you are calmer, you are more patient, you are more trusting. And sometimes that internal change is exactly what you needed before your external circumstances could shift. Because if Allah gave you everything you asked for without preparing your heart first, you might not be able to handle it. You might lose gratitude, lose focus, or lose your connection again. But when Allah transforms you first, He is preparing you, not just for what you want, but for what is best for you. So don't underestimate what is happening inside you when you make dua, even if you don't see immediate results, even if your situation looks the same. Something is changing, and that change is powerful. Because when your heart becomes stronger, your faith becomes deeper and your trust becomes unshakable. You are no longer just waiting for your life to improve. You are becoming the kind of person who can rise above any challenge with Allah by your side. It's easy to feel inspired for a moment. It's easy to make a powerful dua once, feel emotional, feel connected, and then slowly drift back into old habits. Life gets busy, sleep feels heavier, distractions return, and that special moment after Fajr, the one filled with peace and potential, begins to slip away again. But here's the truth most people don't realize. It's not one dua that changes your life. It's consistency. Consistency is what turns a single moment into a transformation. When you commit to sitting after Fajr every day, even if it's just for a few minutes, you are building something far greater than a routine. You are building a relationship with Allah that grows stronger, deeper, and more meaningful over time. At first, it might feel difficult. Your body may be tired, your mind may wander, you might not feel anything special right away. And that's where most people give up. They expect instant results, instant emotions, instant change. But real change doesn't always happen instantly. It happens quietly, steadily, consistently. Every morning you choose to stay after Fajr, you are sending a message. Ya Allah, I'm here, no matter what. I'm showing up. And that consistency matters because Allah loves the deeds that are done regularly, even if they are small. It's not about how long you sit, it's about the fact that you keep coming back day after day, dua after dua, moment after moment. And with time, something incredible begins to happen. Your heart starts to recognize this time as something sacred. It becomes your safe space. A place where you can breathe, reflect, and reconnect before facing the world. Your connection with Allah becomes more natural. You no longer struggle to make dua. It becomes something you need, something you look forward to. And slowly, the impact begins to spread into the rest of your life. You carry that morning peace into your day. You react with more patience. You handle stress with more calm. You make decisions with more clarity because your day didn't start with chaos. It started with connection. And then come the changes you didn't expect. Doors begin to open in ways you can't explain. Problems begin to ease without you forcing solutions. Opportunities come from places you never imagined, not always instantly, not always dramatically, but consistently, just like your effort. This is how Allah works, quietly, beautifully, perfectly. And here's the most powerful part. Consistency builds trust. The more you show up after Fajr, the more your heart learns to rely on Allah, not just in big problems, but in everything. You begin to understand that you are never alone, never unsupported, never forgotten, and that realization changes everything. Because now, even when life gets hard, you have something to hold on to, a habit, a connection, a daily return to Allah that keeps you grounded. So don't underestimate small, consistent effort. You don't need an hour. You don't need perfect focus. You don't need perfect words. You just need to show up. Even on the days you feel nothing, even on the days you feel tired, even on the days your mind is distracted, show up anyway. Because one day you will look back and realize those quiet moments after Fajr, those small, consistent duas, they didn't just change your days, they changed your entire life.